Barak Yahweh Alam. Shalom, righteous family. Welcome back to the TRU-TALK. And I know y'all see the title. I know. I want to talk about it. Maybe a little controversial, maybe a little crazy. But can you be gay? Is there a way to be gay without sinning? Can you be gay in a straight way? I know a lot of y'all is like, where he going with this? And let me tell you a quick story that kind of prompt this whole idea. I remember a while back, someone told me this story. They said it was a bad tornado, and it tore through this town and flooded the town. The town was flooded. The water was up to the rooftop. And this one man was on top of his roof, waiting on the Most High to save him. And the Red Cross came by in the boat and said, "Yo, we here to save you, get in." And he said, "Nah, I'm waiting on the Most High." And they politicked and debated and argued with him for a few minutes. And then they left, said we can't force them in the boat unless there might be a lawsuit on us or something. If you don't want to get in, they left. A couple of days later, an old man came by in the boat by himself. He asked the man, he said, "Hey, you want to ride?" The man that was on the roof, of course. The man on the roof said, "No, thank you. I'm waiting on the Most High to save me." A couple more days go by. A helicopter comes. They said, "Sir, we here to save you. Climb up on this ladder." He waved them off and said, "No thanks. I'm waiting on the Most High to save me." So after a couple of days, the house, finally caved in because it was underwater, and he fell in the water and drowned. When he got to heaven, he asked the Most High, "I prayed and I had hope and faith in you that you was going to come save me. Why didn't you come save me all those days that I was praying to you and having faith that you would save me?" And the Most High said, "I sent two boats and a helicopter." And that made me think. It's one thing to hear stuff, but when you really think deep on it, it's like maybe the Most High will help us in ways that we don't think it's the Most High, or we are having our own ignorant, corner mind. This is the way the Most High is going to help me or supposed to help me, or if help come, this is the way the help supposed to look if it come from the Most High. A lot of times the Most High can help us in many different ways. But what you mean by that? I mean, the scripture says there's no temptation that's uncommon to man. But through it all, he give us a way to escape. He give us a way to escape. Now, for most of us, we may think that means he gonna give us a way to overcome that temptation. Or maybe he give us a way to give in to that temptation, but it don't be sin. What you mean? Well, like fornication. Fornication is sin. But through marriage, that's a way a man and a woman can have as much sex as they want without sinning. So you can say marriage is a way out of being a fornication or adulteress. Now, of course, you don't supposed to just look at it like that. You don't supposed to just marry somebody just to have sex with them. Of course, you want a companion and love and somebody to support you and be there for you mentally and emotionally and spiritually and all that good stuff. But nevertheless, because somebody was talking to me one day and they was like, what do you do when somebody is born gay? And we was kind of politicking about this gay thing. And she was like, well, these people, she was like, and I was like, I was kind of making jokes and saying, because I couldn't see myself wanting a man. And I was saying how nasty that was and just filthy and stupid it is to, I guess the idea just is, I don't get it. A man can't do nothing for me, don't turn me on, it make no sense to me. But she said to me, she was like, you desire women's, don't you? I'm like, of course I desire women's. She was like, the same way you desire a woman, somebody that's gay, even though you don't get it, they desire a woman. They desire a man the same way you desire a woman. And I was like, huh. So she was like, are you willing to just set your desires aside and not be with a woman due to society or what people think? Or are you gonna go with your desire? And I thought about it for a minute. Now, the worldly part of me would just go with my desirements. But if I knew it was truly wrong, I abstain from it. So this is the first and logical reason how you can be gay and not sin. It's simply by having self-control. Now, don't get me wrong. I desire a woman and I want to be with a woman, but I still can have self-control and wait until the Most High send me the right one. This society has not taught us to be that way, to have self-control. So in this society, we feel like just dating and having sex is just common. Teenagers having sex and dating, and that's just the common life in America and most of the world, to just date and have sex and not be married or get committed. And, but that's not the way it should be. The way it should be is every man and woman should restrain themselves until they find the right one that they're going to marry. And then they marry that person to death do you part. And you go through ups and downs with that person and have children with that person. And I promise you, at the end of your life, when both of y'all rocking in the chair in old age, y'all gonna have love for one another because y'all went through this thing called life together, through the ups and downs. No such thing as getting mad and arguing and breaking up. And you're gonna realize every relationship you get in, you're gonna get mad, argue, and break up, get with somebody else, mad, argue, break up, get with somebody else. You see the pattern? Like people always say, we broke up, we couldn't get along, we fell apart, and all these things. It was like, just because you have an argument or you and a person's having a bad spell and not getting along right then, don't mean you gotta break up with the person. That's what relationship is all about, working through the bad times. It's like it's good times, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's bad times, let's break up and find somebody else. And then you do the same thing with that person. And whether you know it or not, you become a whore. We are committing whoreness. And we think just because we date this person for 3 years and call ourselves was in love, and then break up with them and date somebody else for 2 to 3 years, then break up with that person, date somebody else for a year, break up with that person, date somebody else for 6 months, 7 months, break up with that person. We think just because we was in so-called committed relationships and we didn't cheat on them, we are not committing whoreism. We are not being whores. But in the Most High eyes, that's considered a whore. And I'm touching on this because even though we talking about gays and gay sex, committing fornication and adultery is a sin, just as a man having sex with a man and a woman having sex with a woman is sin. Just the same as a man having sex with an animal and a woman having sex with an animal is a sin. It's all sin. So you can't talk down on one sin and do maybe not the same sin, but the sin that's in the same nature range. It's all sexual immorality. It's all sexual sin. But if it's fornication or adultery or gay or uh, zoophilia, pedophilia, all that. It's all immoral sins for the sexual body. So that we got that out of the way. So I was thinking, man, just in my own thoughts, as the Most High made a way for these people, a way to escape their temptation, their desirements, besides them just not giving into it and restraining themselves and being single for the rest of their life instead of committing a sexual act. And it's possible. Don't tell me it's not possible. You got 40-year-old virgins that's not gay, but they just hadn't got laid yet. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people that just do it for a spiritual journey, just to cleanse themselves and to challenge themselves and to go higher. They'll go a couple of years without having sex and do it easily. So it's not something that can't be done. It's just society make like it shouldn't be done and you shouldn't do it. And of course they sexualize everything. But nevertheless, it could be done if you want to do it. Just called self-control, being disciplined. And then even though you desire a man, you just don't sleep with him. Even though you a woman that desire a woman, you just don't sleep and date a woman and remain sin-free. But the other option, see, I don't know like y'all, but in my life, I done seen dykes with children. And I done seen gay men have children by straight women. And I scratched my head and I'm like, huh? So another quick story. There was this little famous dyke where I'm from, but she was well known around the neighborhood. But she was well known because she was a known weed dealer. She had a lot of money. I think the job she had, she kept a lot of money. She kept gold in her mouth, gold chains around her neck, flashy. And she looked like a man. When you seen her, she looked like a little chubby man with a low haircut. But she had this box Chevy with a nice candy paint color on rims, tinted window, with a trunk full of boom, boom, boom. So because she was flashy and a known, drug dealer, weed dealer, she got a lot of attention, especially because of her car. She got a lot of attention, especially from silly, foolish, young female that just you know, wanting to get with her because she was popping or had some money. So she was known to get with a couple of females and even take a couple of females from a couple of dudes. But yet, this dyke that looked like a man, that you probably would think she was a man when you see her, dressed out like a man, had a little boy. And that was always puzzling me because I was like, I could never see her pregnant or pushing out a child. But that was her child. And she one time had sex with a man and had that little boy. Now, I had this older cousin. I was like 13, and he was still young, but he was older than me. I think he was like 18, maybe 19, something like that. And I was hanging out with him and his friends one day, and I heard them over talking. And my cousin, he was kind of the ladies' man, tall, dark skinned, and all the girls seemed to like him. And he was telling the story about telling his homeboys about how this dyke tried him, the dyke that I'm talking about, and basically how a male would come at a female. That's how she came at him, and basically said, "If you let me hit, I'll let you drive my car." And he was offended. He was like, "Man, she think I'm one of these little chumps out here that that I never drove a nice car, never been in a nice car. That I just sleep with her if she let me drive her car." And the dudes was kind of laughing, but they was like, "Man, you should have did it, and you should have asked her for money. You should have been getting money out of her." You know what I'm saying? I would have hit it and would have been, draining the bank account, and nobody would have known. And he was like, "No, no, I ain't gonna do that or whatever." He was like, "I can't do it." You know what I'm saying? She looked too much like a man or whatever. But nevertheless, she don't do this with everybody. At least that's what one of the dudes said. A little dude said, one of his homeboys said, "Man, she don't do that with everybody. She got her little pits, and you was one of her little pits, you know." But she had a son, but so she's not uncommon with you know what. And I guess she wanted the you know what, but she wanted for only certain dudes that she desired to get it from. And she had this whole little thing where I guess she felt like that she can pimp him in some type of way or ledger herself, use her card to get him. And I say all that to say this. Also, another story, because I want this to make sense of where I'm going with this. Also, growing up, there was this dude my older sister used to hang out with, gay as a hummingbird. I mean, I knew he was gay. He was acting gay, talked to gay, uh, hang around nothing but females. But all the females thought he was so handsome, and they were saying, "No, he's not gay. That's just his way. He just not like other dudes." And I was like, "He's gay." And they was like, "No, no, you don't know what you're talking about. He's not gay." And I'm like, "Okay, it's only two options. He's gay or he's a pimp. Because no way a dude is gonna be riding around with a car full of females and be friends with a whole bunch of females and he's not gay or a pimp. Because he used to always be around a whole bunch of females and be riding in the car with a whole bunch of females. But this young man got married, had kids, and I thought, well, maybe he wasn't gay. Maybe he just, how to say, was feminine, was real feminine. But Later on, after he done got married and had kids, da-da, rumor came out that his wife caught him with another man. So he came out the closet or was forced out the closet. And my sister like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And I was like, come on, I can. I told you. I told you when we was younger that he was gay. It took all these years for it to manifest. And then I seen lesbians have gay friends and want to have kids, but don't want to have kids just by anybody. And they'll sleep with their gay male friend to have babies. Well, they don't be lesbian. It'd be a straight woman that want to have kids, and they'll sleep with their gay male friend to have kids because they say he'll be a good father. And I just don't want to have a baby by anybody. And since this gay man is my best friend, I'd rather have sex with him. And the gay person would be like, okay, yeah, I'm gay, but I don't mind doing that. I don't mind laying in the wood and getting you pregnant. And I was like, huh. So you got dyke studs, whatever you want to call them. You got women that dress and act like men, want to be men. They don't want to play the woman role. They want to play the man role. And they look so much like men that a lot of these dykes out here you would think was a man. They would actually fool you the way that they talk, walk, and act. They so masculine, you would actually mistake them from a man. And then you got gay men that's so feminine and gay and dress up with makeup and weave to the fact they fooling brothers out here and they look just like a female. I mean, feminine like a female. Most of them can't really change their voice to talk like a female, but some of them can. They take them hormone pills and started looking straight like a female, sounding like a female, to the point you can't tell the difference, and they fooling brothers. And they want to be with a man. But why don't the gay male that want to be a female and want a man get with the gay stud that want to be a man and want a female? Ain't they the perfect match? So you got the male playing the female role and the female playing the male role. They acting out in their masculinity. The female dyke is acting in her masculinity. The gay dude is acting in his feminine, but the gay dude is getting a man that actually look like a woman, and the gay man is getting a straight up woman that look just like a straight up man. You can't tell me that a dyke and a lesbian, or did I say it right? Not a dyke and a lesbian, but a dyke and a gay man that like to dress up and be a female can't come together and form a relationship. I mean, have y'all even tried this? I'm just wondering, because y'all don't have no problem with sleeping with the opposite sex of straight people. To every now and then dive in that. And I noticed that a lot of dykes, they don't mind, or studs, whatever you want to call them, they don't mind getting the wood. They don't mind at all. And the gay men, they don't mind laying the pipe. but they just attracted to the same sex. And if you got straight men that's being fooled by these gay men and willing to go in and have sex with them, how much more than, I mean, you can't be more manner than a real man. If a real man see a gay man that's dressing up and look like a beautiful female and he's get turned on and desire her, how much more than a dyke will also desire this male dressing up like a female, and vice versa. You know, I brought this question across a brother. I don't know if he was a brother or not. I think he was. I had brought it across him in a compliment on one of my last video I made. He was talking about gays, but it wasn't about this. But I had brought this up to him, and he was like, "Nah, that ain't gonna work because the gay man gonna want a real man, and the lesbian female, I mean, in the stud female, gonna want a real female and not one that's faking it." I was like, "What?" Like they is getting real. How would they tell the difference? And you saying by their nature that they wouldn't do it because it's like it just didn't make no sense. Like he was capping, made me question like, what you talking about, dude? Like, but in my mind, this made perfect sense. And I think the Most High actually made it this way because just think about if he only made lesbian, no gay dudes. I mean, dykes and no gay dudes, or gay dudes and no dykes. But just as well as he made females that wanted to desire and be men and desire other females, he made males that wanted to be females and desire men. So it seemed like to me that the Most High is making a way out for your temptation. If you truly want to be with a companion and get with somebody, it's like the perfect ideal to do, thing to do if you gay, but you don't want to sin. Then you got the transgender. This is a whole nother level of sickness. You know, excuse me, I hope they don't, you know, try to take this down for this or nothing. But when they changing their genders and, you know what I'm saying, you don't know if this was a man, a cat, or a dog, or a woman, or what. It's so confusing. But you can cut down this fusion. You ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? You can still keep your body parts. You can still be, you know, trans. Just look for the opposite trans sex. Just as well as you trying to be a woman that's trans, since y'all got this whole community, why not set that dating app up for y'all trans men, find trans women to date? The men that fix themselves to look like women, find all the women that fix themselves to look like men and date one another. Unless you just so wicked and evil that you just got a sin that you say, no, that's, if I do that, I won't be sinning. If I do that, then I won't be going against the Most High and his ways and his laws and his will. If I do that, no, I can't do that. Now you're already going against by changing yourself and dressing up like a woman when you're a man, and a woman dressing up like a, 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 a man when she's a woman. But nevertheless, he made a way out. You can ask for forgiveness. We all sin. Ask the Most High forgive you for dressing up like a woman, dressing up like a man. And the Most High is merciful. he'll see at least you trying to do the right thing. So of course we got the common, let's just say the green, green for go, green for good. It's the common man and woman duo. Biological woman, biological man, making biological children, producing. The woman is woman, no good. No produce, no good. Man on man, no good. No produce, no good. No swords fighting. But over here you got the woman that's playing the man role, and you got the man that's playing the woman role in the blue. Birds reverse, but you still going out with the opposite sex. So that's enough of my rants today. Y'all comments, what y'all think? Y'all think this is a good idea? You think the LBGT community should try to make a website to do this, to be able to push this more? Because I'm gonna just keep it 100. Seem like a lot of them is just nasty. They just want to have orgy and sleep with whoever they want, and be promiscuous. Not all of them. Some of them are looking for love. A lot of them just want to be out there feeling their desirements. Not to talk about uh, people that have that gay spirit or that homosexual homosexual spirit on them are known to be psychopaths, dangerous killers. What's that man name that was eating his victim, having body parts cut up in his body? The white man, just as gay as all outdoors. He was bringing other gay black men back to his apartment to sleep with them, and then he'll kill them. And through the history, there's been a lot of serial killers that's been homosexual or gay. So this idea that, and I'm gonna talk about this later, but just to touch on this, because you see a lot of rappers that have homosexual, a lot of so-called gangster and hood rappers that so-called put in work in the neighborhood, which just mean they're serial killers. They killed a lot of people. And people think just because they willing to kill or able to kill, that make them more of a man. And then you see a lot of these dudes coming up to be fruity. Because that's what type of spirit comes with being a homosexual. They don't want to admit it, but that's homosexual spirit also come with violence and rage and the willingness to take life and kill. So it don't surprise me when these so-called killers turn out to be fruity. And people be like, well, it don't make sense. He's a killer. How can he be fruity? Or even though he's fruity, he done put in a lot of work. It's like, nah, it make perfect sense. Because they got that homosexual spirit on them. Two wrongs don't make it right. If you can take somebody's life, then you can do that to another man. You don't have no morals. To take somebody's life repeatedly over nothing, but just because they claim something you don't, or they stay a couple of streets down from you in a different hood, you got to be a psychopath. You just want to take a life. And the ones that's willing to take more life and usually get more strikes and daps in the hood and propped up in this wicked world in hip hop industry because they so-called put in work. The main ones that getting popped up because they put in the work They put in the work because they have that homosexual spirit on them. And that homosexual spirit comes with that type of heart and mind and behavior. And Rome soldiers, Roman soldiers was known to be some of the most brutal and wicked soldiers. Remember, they're the one that crucified Christ. You gotta be wicked to come up with a torture like crucifixion. Our Romans, that was the Romans' idea to come up with death by being nailed to a wood or a tree or a cross. But if you look at the Romans' history, a lot of their soldiers was and they thought it was better because they said when the men go off for war and they be out for months and years, so they soldiers won't be so-called weak and thinking of women's or let the enemy trick them by a woman and using sex against them, that a lot of the soldiers will just become lovers. So when they was out there on the battlefield, they was really dying for one another because they were lovers. They was really having each other backs because they was in that type of relationship. But these soldiers was known to be some of the most violent soldiers. And they connect that with the homosexual spirit. But just had to throw that out there, family. That's why. But nevertheless, till next time, shalom.